and the Workshop Whisperer, and I'm able to share these 5 things that you need to unlearn through personal experience. The majority, in fact, all of the wealth that my husband and I now enjoy and that we're able to share with our family, we have accumulated in the last 8 years, and the vast majority of that in the last 6 years since we were married. And we both came into the marriage as the poorer of divorced couples who came together with a shared belief that if we were both headed in the same direction and supporting each other, that we'd be able to achieve great financial outcomes in a short period of time. So these 5 things that I'm going to share with you that you need to unlearn about money in order to build wealth, we had to unlearn as well. So the first of those is that just making money is the easy part. Now, it might seem to you like it's actually getting enough clients or customers in your business that is the hardest part. And it may seem that way for a little while, but if you stick with it and you apply even the most basic principles of business, you will eventually generate income, and it will happen in a fairly repeatable fashion. Bringing in revenue isn't the hard part. Holding on to it is, and using it in a way that allows you to build wealth isn't something that everyone's able to do. If it was, you'd see far more wealthy people in the world, even far more people who had just better outcomes in the world. So we're talking about the type of wealth that sees beyond what your family needs in order to survive, beyond what your family needs to thrive. You need to be able to have the mindset that opens you up to setting up systems that will allow you to have enough wealth to actually go out and do good in the world. So if you're good at business and eventually you do start to generate income, whether that's through coaching revenue, you're a practitioner of some kind, you might be a dentist, a counsellor, you might be a hairdresser, you will learn to bring in revenue, but you might discover that your expenses always equal the amount of revenue that you bring in. That's why you need to understand that there are certain principles that are needed in order to start not only bringing in enough that there's a surplus left over, but also being able to use the surplus to grow wealth that lasts. So you've got to unlearn that actually bringing the money in is the hardest part. It's not. Eventually it becomes the easy thing. It's the structure that you need to put in there to support you keeping the wealth that you really need to focus on. The second thing that you need to unlearn is that savings is all it really takes in order to get a leg up towards wealth building. You definitely need to learn not to be a reckless spender so that you don't end up back at the number one thing you have to unlearn, where you might be bringing in income, but you've got money going out in the same proportion. Reckless spending will make that happen. But only saving your money and not reinvesting in things in the business that need it, in better team members, in better equipment, if you've got a bricks and mortar business, or better technology if you've got an online business. If you're only saving money, you're also not going to be able to enjoy certain aspects of life that you should be rewarding yourself with because you take the risk of owning a business. And saving money can be seen energetically as also hoarding money if you're not using your money in a way that the universe defines is good for others. So one of the things about money, and I mention it throughout number 4 and number 5 here, is that money is actually energy and it needs to flow. And those people that believe that they just have to save or they don't ever like to spend money, they're always saving for a rainy day, might be known as tight. They're not necessarily going to become wealthy. They will often suffer a form of unhappiness because they do not allow themselves to indulge in any of life's beauty. So the number 2 thing to unlearn is that savings alone will help you grow wealth. It will not. Number 3, you need to unlearn that money doesn't need a system or structure. It absolutely does. And this, even though I've got it here at number 3, is probably the number 1 thing I would pinpoint that when my husband and I implemented a cash flow management system into our business and even into our personal finances, that's when things really started to take off. So money does need structure. It needs containers or ditches in order for your riches to grow in. So if you've only got one bank account for your business and all of your revenue goes in there, you pay all of your bills out of there, you might pay your team from there, you pay your tax from there, then that's not a structure. There's no way for you to separate out how much money is actually in surplus, and only having one bank account often gives you the false understanding that you've got more money than you really have, especially if you look on a day when there's a number of client payments or customer payments in your bank account. You've never got any idea of what should truly be allocated for the tax man, what should be allocated for payroll, what needs to be allocated for expenses, what you're actually entitled to. Your money needs to live in separate bank accounts for separate things. You need to have at least 5 bank accounts inside of your business, and it's always a great idea to have at least that for your personal finances as well. And if you really want extra gold stars, then you will actually read the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, and you will go away from this video and you will actually implement straight away. If you need help with your implementation or you want to understand more about that point, then you can also have a look at my Sort Your Shit Out online program, which the link will be in the comments below for you to do that. The next thing to unlearn about money is that bad debt is okay if it helps you look good. There's 2 types of debt. There's bad debt, which we're going to talk about, and then there's good debt. Good debt is the money you borrow in order to finance the acquisition of appreciating assets. For many of us, that is our home. It is also how we finance investment properties. You may use it to finance purchases on the stock market. But for the majority of people, good debt will be attached to a commercial property or a residential property. Bad debt, on the other hand, is attached to purchases that have a declining value, a depreciating value, or there isn't actually anything to show tangibly for the purchase. It's just debt. So that might look like a personal loan for nothing in particular, a car loan, credit card, anything that's value decreases the minute you purchase it is bad debt. Now, if you're an emotional spender, and you're having a bit of a bad patch, you might take out your American Express or your Visa card, and you might finance things to make you feel better. So that might be designer handbags, it might be spa treatments, it might be a holiday. The rule of thumb here is that if you can't pay cash for it, then don't do it. Set up a bank account for purchases like that and split some of your own compensation, what you pay yourself, into that account, and only purchase those things as that bank account says you can afford them. So don't use bad debt to feel better or look good or try and keep up on Instagram. You've got to unlearn that that's the way to get to where you want to go. There's really no such thing as fake it till you make it with money in that regard. Do the hard yards, earn the cash, and then have as many flashy things as you want because you didn't need debt to finance their purchase. And the final thing that you need to unlearn with money, if you're going to build wealth long term, is that you'll wait until you're rich before you start showing your generosity. It probably comes in at number 2, a very close second to implementing money structure. If you want to be rewarded by the universe, or whatever your term is for source, spirit, God, then God wants to see that you are out there giving without expectation. And one of the most rewarding and best ways to show that that is the place that you're coming from is to have generosity as your default setting. So that doesn't always have to be giving generously with money. That can be with your time. It can be with your knowledge. It can be knowledge, expertise. And of course, it can also be through charitable donations. And it can be really quite simple. Leading with generosity and contributing doesn't take away from you. It's one of the little prosperity hacks of the universe, and it actually helps things come back to you tenfold. So if you're not already practicing some kind of generosity daily, whether that's through sharing your skills and knowledge in some way, whether you're contributing your time at no charge, or making some kind of donation. You might have your own foundation already, or you might simply give to initiatives that help put food in front of homeless people or provide medical care somewhere in the world. You can set those initiatives up. You're in business. You can make them tax deductible donations when you go through the right channels, but it should be something that your business and yourself lead with, rather than an afterthought or a way that right at the last minute you try and save money on your tax. In order to build wealth, make sure you check out Sort Your Shit Out, my online program that helps you systemize all of the little things between your business, your household, and your life, so that you can enjoy business and life exactly how you had envisaged when you started. I'll see you again soon.